Okay, as you can see here, I finally got the forge up and running, and I'm bringing the metal to critical temperature. Doing here is basically heating it up for its first heat. We're going to get ready to basically hit it out until it's about a quarter of an inch, and that'll basically give us something to work with. And basically this was Saturday. Sunday, which is the next day, I will start to thin it out even more, bring it out a lot bigger, and you'll basically see how it's a blade. So, I'm about to show you guys the tools I'm using. Let me get into view real quick. Alright, I'm using a 2-inch flat hammer that weighs about 6 pounds, and quarter-inch tongs. This basically, I grab the steel with those and hit it with the hammer. Should be about 20 seconds now. Alright, so as you can see right here, I'm taking it out of the forge. And the coloration of it is a bright yellow to a dull orange around the edges. What I'm doing is, I'm doing more precision things to kind of flatten out the blade more. And basically what this does is it creates a little bow in it. That bow, you have to basically put it on to where the edges are on the anvil and the bow is a little high. So you can see it, and then you can hit it flat, and it's going to cause a slight concave. You just flip it over, do the same thing, and fix it until it's perfectly straight. Alright, the product of all of that work is a curve that does not look forced. And I also made the difference between the handle and the blade a bit more apparent, as you can see right there. And I drew it out a little bit longer. Alright, so I have it next to the forge, which is still pretty hot, even though it's not glowing anymore. And that's just going to help it cool down slowly. So basically, this lets it relieve a little bit of stress, and I did heat it up slowly and cool it down slowly at the end of each heat to normalize the steel. When you heat treat it, kind of does the opposite, but then you temper it to make it more flexible. Okay, so, second day, we're heating it up, cleaning off the anvil just a little bit. Yeah, you can hear my little dog Marie barking in the background. Isn't she cute? But as you can see, I'm pretty much just heating up the blade. Now this is much later, and I drew it out a lot more. Almost to a point where I'm happy with it. But as you'll see, I wasn't. I did do a little bit more work. Now, I didn't get the footage of the handle. But, real quick, let's get some more shots of the blade. There's a little bit of the dent in the end, which I'll take out, as you can see right here. And, I basically just flattened the blade a little bit more, brought it out, and wait for it. Well, yeah, I also put a slight bevel in it. But I hit it with a wire wheel, so it looks all nice. Right? But as you can see, I put a D handle in it, so it's a pirate sword. Woohoo! But, yeah, it's comfortable. It's a little front heavy, but for the most part, it's balanced. As you can see, the edge isn't really straight and stuff like that. Well, I'll fix that. It's not completely done. I haven't put it on a belt sander yet, which, I will, actually, and I'll show you some of the other knives I made while I made this. Yep, that's right, some other cool things. But, let me show you a little close-up, just so you can get a better look at the sword. Okay, so as you can see, along the way of making this, we went from a simple piece of rebar, and after drawing it out, we got to something sort of looking like this after the first day. And although that's something, I wasn't really pleased, and honestly, I started out being pretty bad at the project. Then I got better, and it started to look like, you know, something with like a blade, like with a natural curve in the blade and the handle. Then it really started looking like something, not as much chinks in the blade, an actual tip, and a D handle. And I shined it up, making it look all nice, and heat treated it. guys, on the last day, I pretty much just heat treated and polished and grinded the main edges into all the knives that I made along the way. The first three were a bushcraft knife, a fighting knife, and a butter knife, and this one was a kitchen knife.
Okay, so basically what I hope you got out of this was, is if you want to start blacksmithing, it's not that hard to get into, but it is hard to learn. And this was the first sword I made. I know I didn't show you exactly how to do things. It was honestly just the process of how I built it and what steps I went through. I know I didn't show the final one, but if you're interested in what tools I used, I basically just used an angle grinder to pretty much polish it. I used a grinding wheel to get out the main bumps and stuff like that, and then pretty much a flap sander to polish it, get the small imperfections out, and even put in the edge of the blade. And I sharpened it with a belt sander, a bench grinder, and just a plain old whetstone. Before you do the sharpening process, heat treat it, clean it off again, temper it, and then sharpen it. And then you'll pretty much be done. This was my first project video. If you guys have any critiques, just leave them down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and Merry Christmas.